What it do? Dream Team, it's your boy D Neal, back with another reaction video. Here we are with the history of Krampus. Heard this Krampus in a lot of German videos, so I decided maybe it's time to learn about where Krampus came from. Before we dive in, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow, talk to me, human. I'll talk back. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What do we got?
A deranged face with bloodshot eyes, large horns, fangs and a long tongue. He's covered in fur and is gigantic in scale. He is.
I'm scared now.
Everything has its opposite. Good has its evil. Light has its shadow. Nice has its naughty, and St. Nicholas has Krampus. Typically described as a half-goat, half-demon creature, it's easy to compare Krampus to, or even mistake him for, the devil. Because the two figures bear such a striking resemblance, the Catholic Church tried to eliminate Krampus celebrations during the 12th century. This attempt was unsuccessful, and the tradition continued. His image alone ought to be horrifying enough to keep naughty kids in line. But those who dare challenge Krampus, as the legend suggests, would endure an extreme punishment of being beaten with birch twigs, kidnapped and taken back to his lair, tortured, and even eaten.
Yeah. We gonna be good. The kids gonna be good. Hey. In the U.S., it's like you getting coal in your stocking. You ain't gonna get no gifts if you act naughty. Santa just gonna ignore you. In Germany, Krampus coming for you. You getting taken away. You're getting tortured. You might get eaten. Yeah, that gonna get the kids right in line, right? The Krampus gonna get the kids right in line.
Twigs, kidnapped and taken back to his lair, tortured, and even eaten. Krampus's pre-Germanic origins are unrelated to Christmas, and is thought to have initially been a part of pagan rituals practiced for winter solstice. He later became associated with Christmas, which, as mentioned, the Catholic Church tried to ban at one point in time. He is sometimes referred to as the Christmas Devil. While his true origins are unknown, the myth of Krampus has roots in what is now considered Germany, where traditionally, people began celebrating Christmas earlier in the month. The name Krampus comes from the word Klempen, which is German for claw. In Germanic tradition, St. Nicholas is a benevolent figure who gives sweets to good children, while Krampus, his malevolent counterpart, beat and kidnapped the bad children. In essence, their origin story recounts how St. Nicholas and Krampus traveled together working as a team, rather than opposing forces, one bearing rewards while the other brought fear and punishment. The good and the bad duo would arrive in tandem on December 5th, which is known as Krampenschnacht, which translates to Krampus Night. They'd go door to door, and either St. Nick would leave presents for the good children, or Krampus would beat the naughty ones with sticks and branches. In some lore, he might even eat them or take them to the underworld. Once Krampus was done with his mischief, the Germanic people would then celebrate Nikolaustag, or St. Nicholas Day, on December 6th. The children who, through good behavior, managed to avoid Krampus, or those who were once naughty and survived his punishments, would awaken to gifts which could range from something totally awesome to a rod, a gesture designating good or poor behavior. Krampus uses his force to discourage...
God, just imagine like growing up being told about this in your childhood, like, and then one day your parents decide to dress up as Krampus, bro, and like, just imagine you a kid and you're in bed asleep, and then your parent dressed in this Krampus costume just wake you up. Can you imagine the fear in your heart, the absolute terror that would be struck into this child? Oh my gosh, bro. I need to see a prank or something where somebody did that. I need to see that, because that would be crazy.
A rod, a gesture designating good or poor behavior. Krampus uses his force to discourage people from naughtiness, and as a means of deterring children from bad behavior. According to Krampus Los Angeles director Al Ridenour, Krampus is a boogeyman associated with the Christmas season. Ridenour explains that Krampus is a species, rather than a singular creature. Being that he is the counterpart of St. Nick, Krampus's birch twig may be in reference to the Dutch legend of St. Nicholas coming back from the dead and then nearly beating a bishop to death with a birch wood, perhaps linking Krampus's role as St. Nicholas's darker counterpart. Krampus is often covered in sheepskins, as well as heavy chains or cowbells. The chains are thought to have been introduced only after Christian influence on the holiday, as a possible representation of attempting to bind the devil. However, the origin is technically unknown, and the chains and bells could have also been a part of a lost pagan ritual, or perhaps adopted elsewhere, as Krampus has been influenced by many other traditions and cultures as well. After 1890, the Austrian postcard industry began to grow after the government released its hold on the industry. Between 1890 and the beginning of World War I, Krampus Christmas cards made by German companies were sold in Austria, Germany, and beyond. They often featured text like "Brav sein," be good, and "Kuss vom Krampus," greetings from Krampus. Images on the cards often showed crying children being frightened or kidnapped by a terrifying Krampus, among other variations. Cards featuring adults emerged around 1903 and 1904. Some depicted them also being punished by Krampus, while others were designed to be funny. There were even cards depicting female versions of Krampus, who were often much more attractive than the male version. They also had a long tongue and horns. Other cards that featured women sometimes showed Krampus courting them or taking them away. Adding adults to the mix may have just been a way to expand the market for the cards. The myth of Krampus diminished after World War II, but returned with the renewed folk culture interest in the 1950s and the 1960s. By the late 20th century, Krampuslauf, or Krampus runs, became increasingly popular in Austria and Germany, as they were seen as a tradition they could enact to help preserve their cultural heritage. Krampus runs often involve alcohol and a parade with people dressed in Krampus costumes, ringing cowbells and scaring and chasing spectators whilst prodding them with sticks. Similar activities were also celebrated in other regions such as the Czech Republic, Hungary, and Slovenia as well. Krampus
you ain't finna chase me through the street in that costume. You not finna chase me through the street wearing that, bro. No. If I was with my girl, as soon as I see Krampus pop out, it's every man for themselves. Every man, woman, and child for themselves at that point, because I'll take it all. I'm out of there. I'm turning into the Flash on the spot.
In other regions such as the Czech Republic, Hungary, and Slovenia as well. Krampus parades, also called Personlauf or Klaubaufe, stem from a pagan tradition that goes back centuries, where young men dressed in costumes marched the streets for the purposes of eliminating or getting rid of the ghosts of winter. The costumes, often referred to as Persten, are named after the devils they resemble. The masks are influenced by the folklore about evil mountain spirits that appear to cause harm in the winter months. In Western Austria, the pagan tradition of dressing up in Persten costumes, also called Teufel or Krampus depending on the region, and taken to the streets to get rid of winter's ghost, goes back about 1500 years. In southern Germany's Bavarian area, and in eastern Austria's Alpine area, traditional customs may have included someone dressing up as St. Nicholas, along with a small posse of Krampuses, angels, and a person with gifts to go door to door the evening of December 5th. At each door, St. Nicholas asked the children about their behavior, and may also ask the kids to recite their catechism or a seasonal poem, or sing a song while the Krampuses stomped around outside. And if they failed, well, Krampus would go ahead and handle that. American celebrations of Krampus tend to skew more towards the Austrian celebrations for adults that involve drunk men running around in scary costumes. Interestingly, this is not dissimilar to the way Christmas used to be celebrated before the 19th century. According to author Stephen Niesenbaum, Christmas was a holiday that was characterized by boisterous revelry. It was sort of like a combination of Halloween and New Year's Eve and Mardi Gras. These celebrations include mummers, who would demand alcohol door to door, which later evolved into trick-or-treating. Krampus also has roots in the story of a battle between St. Nicholas and the devil, but in recent years, some believe that it has become too commercialized. Krampus's recent resurgence in popularity has expanded the Yuletide figure's reach to a comic book series and a movie. There are many versions and variations of Krampus.
I might need to check out a Krampus movie. I might have to look into this.
Series and a movie. There are many versions and variations of Krampus-like figures all around the world, appearing in both male and female forms. In post-Reformation Germany, a secular character known as Pelznickel emerged to combine both the kind qualities of St. Nicholas and the scary qualities of Krampus-like figures. It's believed that German immigrants brought the legend of Pelznickel over with them to America in the 1700s and the 1800s, and the name slowly morphed into Belznickel. Today, Belznickel is a staple of Christmas in Pennsylvania Dutch communities. In Austria and Bavaria, Frau Perkta is described as a woman, some describe her as a witch, who goes around during the 12 days of Christmas rewarding the good and punishing the bad. Her punishments, however, are quite extreme. She's said to cut open the stomachs of naughty children, removing their organs and replacing them with things like stones or hay. Similarly, in Italy, a fairy woman known as La Befana visits children on January 5th, leaving things in children's socks at night. If they're good, they receive candy. If they're bad, they get rocks or charcoal.
Okay.
In Greece, goblin-like creatures known as
understand that.
kalakanzaroi bring mischief to people's homes during the 12 days of Christmas. They enter through chimneys or doors, and methods of warding them off include a pig's jaw, a black-handled knife, strings of flax, and fire. These are just a few among...
Bro, what is going? Where are these traditions coming from? Where are all these traditions coming from? Who is coming up with these? They said keeping away a pig jaw, a black handled knife, fire. What on God? How y'all come up with this
a pig's jaw, a black-handled knife, strings of flax, and fire. These are just a few among many others throughout various cultures. Despite his malevolent agenda, his appearance alone is quite intimidating, and likely enough to curb bad behavior, at least for some of us.
Yes!
So as winter rolls in year after year, better hope that you're on the nice list, and not the naughty one. Unless, of course, you're into that.
I swear to God, nah. If I grew up with that, bro, ain't no way. I'd never be on the naughty list. I wasn't on the naughty list over here. But over there, I definitely, nah. Parents, if guys, subscribers, if there is a prank video with a parent pranking their child with this Krampus, please let me know. Please comment. I would love to see it. That's all we got for this. So you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You don't subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal. Out.